My success broke him, but it was his jealousy that finished him. My brother, Ethan, he wasn't just willing to destroy everything to one-up me. His own jealousy became the fire that consumed him, leaving only ash. Growing up in our cramped terraced house in South London, all I ever wanted was a connection with my older brother. Ethan, with his quick wit and effortless charm, was the sun around which our family seemed to orbit. I, Liam, was the quiet one, often lost in the corners of our home, meticulously dismantling old electronics and sketching designs for things no one else could quite envision. I idolized him, tried to mimic his confident swagger, even picked up the same local football team's scarf he wore religiously. But instead of an ally, I found an adversary. Every small triumph of mine, whether it was a perfect score on a school project or a detailed drawing that won a local art competition, felt like a direct assault on Ethan's ego. He'd find me, often with a forced, condescending smile. "Liam, still playing with your little gadgets. Some of us are out here winning actual recognition," he'd say, flashing a scholarship letter or a photo from a school play where he had the lead. I never got angry, never felt jealousy. Just a deep ache, a yearning for his approval. I'd just offer a genuine, if naive, congratulations, and that only seemed to fuel the fire in his eyes. He'd turn away, the tension palpable, leaving me feeling like an unwelcome shadow. My attempts at connection finally crumbled when I was 14. Our parents, Eleanor and Robert, had scrimped and saved to buy Ethan a top-of-the-line gaming console he'd been begging for. But they also, in a rare moment of recognition for my own quiet passion, surprised me with a robotics kit, the very one I'd pored over in catalogs for months. The second I unwrapped it, a hopeful spark ignited. Maybe this was a bridge. I ran to Ethan's room, knocking softly. When he opened the door, I held it out. "Ethan, look, want to build something together. This one's got advanced servo motors." He looked at the kit, then back at me, a strange, calculating glint in his eye. "Oh, a toy, how quaint." He snatched the box, then casually tossed it onto his bed, where it landed with a dull thud next to his gleaming new console. "You can tinker with your wires, Liam. I'll be busy with something real." My heart, already fragile, fractured. In that moment, the dream of us sharing anything, creating anything, evaporated. I promised myself then, my achievements, my passions, would be my own secret. He would never again have the power to belittle or destroy what mattered to me. 2 years later, at 16, I built a prototype for an automated inventory system that won me a regional innovation award. Ethan was home from his gap year adventures, ostensibly looking for work, though most of his days were spent lounging. He overheard Mum and Dad excitedly discussing my award over dinner. I braced myself, but to my surprise, he asked if he could attend the awards ceremony. A tiny, foolish part of me hoped, maybe, just maybe, he wanted to turn a new leaf. On the day of the event, the hall buzzed with local dignitaries and proud families. The host was calling out names, working towards the grand prize. Just as he cleared his throat to announce that winner, Ethan, seated beside me, suddenly clutched his chest, letting out a theatrical gasp. "Oh, the lights, too bright." Feeling faint, he wheezed, slumping dramatically in his chair. Everyone turned, concern etched on their faces, the spotlight instantly shifting from the stage to our aisle. He continued his charade until the whispers of "should we call an ambulance" began to spread. Then, with a practiced sigh, he straightened up. "Right as rain now, everyone. Just a touch of stage fright, I suppose. Happens to the best of us." He offered a wide, charming smile that fooled everyone but me. I just shook my head, the bitter taste of his manipulation fresh in my mouth. He'd hijacked my moment, yet again. After that, my life became a series of carefully guarded secrets, not just from Ethan, but from our well-meaning yet often oblivious parents. It was a lonely existence, constantly holding back the joy of small victories, the excitement of new breakthroughs. How I longed to share the news when I landed a coveted internship at a small tech startup in central London at 18, but I knew the risk. I couldn't trust anyone to keep my progress from him. Then came the golden ticket. At 22, after years of relentless study and internships, I received an offer to join Elite Motors, the most prestigious luxury car dealership in Mayfair. It wasn't just a job. It was the entry point into a world I'd only dreamed of, the gleaming chrome, the hushed professionalism, the quiet hum of multi-million-pound vehicles. It was a world where precision and passion converged. I started as a junior sales associate, learning the ropes, observing the sharks. Ethan, meanwhile, had managed to secure a management position at a rival. less exclusive dealership through what I suspected was more charm than actual competence. He still lived at home, still demanded the lion's share of our parents' attention. My acceptance letter to Elite Motors found its way into their hands before I could intercept it. When I walked through the door that evening, Mom screamed, "Liam, darling, Elite Motors, we're so incredibly proud." They immediately started snapping photos of me, the pristine letter in hand, posting them all over social media. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to bask in their pride. Ethan was surely too busy with his own important career to notice. I thought I was wrong. The next morning, the calm shattered. My parents burst into my room, faces etched with frantic worry. "Liam, you have to understand," Mom stammered, her voice trembling. "Ethan, he's had a devastating setback. His job, it's gone. His entire department was restructured overnight." Dad, usually the stoic one, stood behind her, his eyes red. "He needs stability, Liam. We need to focus on him now. He's coming back home indefinitely." I knew, deep down, this was a reaction to my Elite Motors news. Ethan couldn't stand it. He appeared that afternoon, a forced casualness in his posture, a hint of desperation in his eyes that only I could see. "Rough patch, you know, but I'm resilient," he declared, forcing a laugh. "Just need some space to regroup." He started talking about needing the family support, the quiet environment of home to restructure. I nodded, pretending to believe him, the familiar knot of dread tightening in my stomach. The very next week, I was called into Mr. Davies' office at Elite Motors. He was the general manager, a man whose reputation was built on his judgment of character and sales acumen. "Miller," he began, his voice surprisingly warm, "we've been impressed. Your quiet diligence, your unconventional approach to client engagement is effective. We're offering you a promotion to senior sales specialist, effective immediately, and you'll be assisting in the rollout of a new digital client relations platform." My heart soared. This was it, real recognition. The platform Mr. Davies mentioned was something I'd conceptualized and built in my spare time, initially under a secure pseudonym for fear of it being dismissed by management. It was designed to streamline lead tracking and, crucially, to ensure absolute transparency in sales attribution, preventing any manipulative credit stealing. I'd presented it to the IT department only weeks ago, never dreaming it would be this was my chance, my true path. Ethan's reaction to my promotion was almost immediate. He started spending more time at Elite Motors, ostensibly visiting me. He charmed the receptionists, brought coffee for the team, and even tried to schmooze Mr. Davies, but beneath the surface, his jealousy festered. My sales figures, always strong, started to mysteriously dip. Leads I'd meticulously cultivated would vanish from my queue, only to reappear assigned to other colleagues sometimes. Even Ethan himself, who somehow managed to get occasional access to the system through a friend in it. Whispers started circulating. "Liam's losing his touch." Some junior associates would murmur, "Maybe he's not as good as we thought." I kept my silence, but I was meticulously logging everything. I knew something was wrong. This wasn't just bad luck, it was calculated. Ethan, with his access, was quietly, systematically sabotaging me. My automated sales platform, which I had codenamed Sentinel, was still in its pilot phase, running in the background, cross-referencing all sales data. It was designed to flag inconsistencies, to detect patterns of manipulation, and it was now, silently, compiling a mountain of evidence against my brother. The beauty of Sentinel was its unobtrusiveness. It simply observed, a digital detective. I had set it up to send alerts only to my private, encrypted drive, waiting for the right moment. The stakes were clear. My career, my reputation, rested on the truth being exposed, and Ethan's desperation was growing, the tension building. Like a drumbeat before a storm. The climax arrived at the Elite Motors annual awards gala. The grand ballroom of a 5-star hotel near Mayfair was packed. Industry titans, high net worth clients, and the entire Elite Motors staff, all dressed in their finest, buzzed with anticipation. The Sales Excellence Award was the night's pinnacle, a career-making accolade. Ethan, resplendent in a tailored suit, was practically radiating smug confidence. He'd been working the room, subtly taking credit for restructuring the sales processes that had apparently boosted company performance. He'd seen the manipulated figures. He expected his name to be called. Mr. Davies strode to the stage, his usual affable demeanor replaced with a somber, almost stern expression. "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice resonating through the hushed hall. "Before we announce our top award, I must address something critical. For months, We've observed unusual patterns in our sales tracking. Discrepancies. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Ethan shifted, a flicker of unease in his eyes. Fortunately, Mr. Davies continued, a faint, almost imperceptible smile touching his lips. We recently integrated an innovative new auditing platform, a system developed by one of our very own who bravely brought it to our attention. He paused, looking directly at me, and a wave of nervous energy washed over me. This platform, affectionately codenamed Sentinel, has, shall we say, brought unparalleled transparency to our operations. The colossal LED screen behind him, which had been displaying company logos, suddenly changed. It showed 2 columns of data: legacy sales figures and Sentinel verified sales. Beneath them, names began to scroll. Mine appeared first on the Sentinel verified side, with astounding figures, then, directly opposite, Ethan's name appeared with significantly inflated numbers under legacy sales. The difference was stark and damning. Below it, a live feed of irrefutable timestamps and user logs from Ethan's privileged internal system access began to flash, showing his login details connected to my missing leads, his user ID linked to the altered figures. The evidence was undeniable. A collective gasp swept through the room. Ethan's perfectly tailored suit suddenly looked cheap, his face draining of all color. His forced smile evaporated, replaced by a ghastly pallor. He tried to stand, to say something, but no words came. Mr. Davies' voice cut through the stunned silence, cold and precise. This level of unethical manipulation has no place at Elite Motors. Effective immediately, there will be a full internal investigation into these grave breaches of conduct. He didn't name Ethan directly, but he didn't need to. The screen, the logs, Ethan's ashen face, it all pointed to him. And now, Mr. Davies announced, his voice regaining its usual booming confidence, the winner of the Elite Motors Sales Excellence Award, not just for his outstanding sales figures, but for his integrity, his innovation, and his unwavering commitment to truth, Liam Miller. The applause that followed was deafening, mixed with whispers and shocked murmurs. As I walked to the stage, a security detail quietly, but very publicly, escorted Ethan from the room, past the stunned faces of colleagues and clients, his head bowed in shame. He didn't look at me, he couldn't. Natasha's voice, firm, resolute, with a touch of melancholy. My parents, who had always rushed to Ethan's defense, confronted me the next morning, still clinging to their narrative. "Liam, how could you? Ethan told us it was a system glitch. You've ruined him," Mum cried, her voice laced with confusion, not anger. I just looked at them, numb to their misplaced loyalty. "Mum, Dad," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "My success didn't just break him, it was the mirror that finally showed him the monster his jealousy had made. And for the first time, I didn't shatter alongside him, I stood tall." Ethan vanished from our lives, his pride and career utterly decimated. My success didn't break him. His own festering jealousy, exposed by the very truth he tried to bury, finally finished him. And I, Liam, finally found my own voice, and my own place, in the quiet triumph of integrity over deceit. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe for more unforgettable, emotional, and viral true stories. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment, and tell us, where in the world are you watching from?